Hello, my friends. We're here. It's Chat with Matt's 25th, see if I can say that, 25th of September, 2019. How are you guys going? How are you going? I'm sort of on with the rush, just for a change. Always seem to be running just a tiny bit, a few minutes late for appointments and things. It's funny. Not terribly late, but it's just always one more thing to do, and then it's just look up at the clock and it's like, oh. Now I've got a few little things to do before I can connect. Anywho, it's just an aside, really. Here we are. It is Chat with Matt. We've got half an hour together. I am very, very, very happy to answer any questions as you feel to. If you're on live with us, please just type it in and let me have it, right? I'm here to dance. And if you hear anything that we say that inspires you or irritates you or triggers you or you want to argue with, then please go right ahead. That's what we're here to do. Stimulate discussion in order to get better understandings. And it's not just a mental action, right? It's not just this process of transformation, ascension, spiritual evolution, whatever you want to call it, is not an intellectual one so much as an energetic one. And so much of what we say, much of the dialogues that we have are all around the intention to stimulate energetic change, which quite often involves being triggered. It quite often involves having, various emotional responses or reactions to words and concepts that we present. So it's not that I'm here to teach you how to be spiritual. It's not that I'm here to share the truth, quote unquote, the truth with you so that then you know it and then everything gets easy for you, because it doesn't happen that way, right? The conversations stimulate internal changes in you, and it's a process, and it's going to take time, and it's going to involve input and investment from you, right? There's no quick fix here. There's no just listen to some quote-unquote guru, which I am not, by the way, some guru who's going to, divulge the secrets to life, the universe, and everything, and then your life just gets easy. It doesn't happen that way. Although, points of intellectual understanding can make dramatic differences if you choose to employ them into your life, right? If you choose to take action on them, because that's where it really lies, you taking action. I'm back, obviously. This time last week I was still in Ubud, and it was, early morning. It's a little bit later morning now. It's 9 a.m. here. Basically on holidays for the last week of Ubud, last week of Bali. But I'm back to reality now with a thud, as per normal, things to sort out, things to catch up on, and getting busy, getting back into some of the things I put on hold. One of the things that I did put on hold was I didn't really put it on hold, but I wasn't doing any clarity calls while I was away, or for the week before I left for that matter. So it's been 5 or 6 weeks now since I've had my calendar open for helping people for free, 45 minutes. Hey, Sister Leslie. If you are a facilitator of some description or a service provider, a heart-based service provider, and you're looking to attract a better quality of client, more of your bright light clients, then shout out, right? Reach out and I'll hook you up with a call. We can set I'll give you the link to my booking calendar, and you can get on the call with me and we can sort some stuff out and see if we're a great fit to work together a little bit more intensively to have some good outcomes for you. And it's not just about attracting your best clients, it's about attracting your best life. It's the same process, right? It's about really embracing who you are. Hey, Sister Mary, you're a pair of lorikeets these days. Awesome. I saw the lorikeets on my way through Sydney, on the way to Bali, when I stopped off at my parents' house for Sunday lunch. We had an 8-hour stopover in Sydney and made the most of it. Spent time with my parents, and the lorikeets are there, right? We watched the lorikeets. There's a nesting box where the lorikeets are, and nesting baby lorikeets, the whole thing. Baby lorikeets crying in the tree, lorikeets going down to the bird bath en masse, all of that. It's lorikeet, rainbow lorikeet. Yeah, that's how you say it. I just had a moment there where I thought, am I saying the word right? Yeah, rainbow lorikeet heaven in Sydney, at my parents' place anyway. Anywho, that's a bigger side. what was I about to say? Yeah, it's about attracting your best life to you, because it's the same process of actually stepping into owning who you are and allowing your own light to radiate out, allowing yourself to be seen in truth, right? Truth, I know, is a slippery subject. I can't anymore, Sister Mary. I'm not sure if you're talking about the lorikeets or my parents, but they're both back in Sydney and I'm now here in New Zealand. So I missed that opportunity. Energetically sending kisses to lorikeets and parents. Anywho, but yeah, same process. It's the same process to attracting all good things into your life. The course and the program, the process that I deliver through that course is specifically around clients, but a lot of people are applying it to all sorts of areas in their life, and a lot of people are having outcomes in different areas of their life, right? You know, working to attract their best clients and all of a sudden finding, deeper, intimate relationships showing up, because when we allow ourselves to start being seen, then people start recognizing us and automatically attracted to us. Yeah, awesome. So yeah, automatically attracted to us because we're basically allowing ourselves to be seen both physically and energetically. Anywho, that's all here. Let's talk. Sister Sylvie wrote in a question pre to this going live. Here it is. It's a few paragraphs, so bear with me as I read it as best I can. Hi, Matt. Yes, I know that I'm asking often similar questions, but we are moving forward when we talk about this from different angles. I wish for you to tell about the frustration of knowing we have great gifts, of being able to coach energetically clients who obtain great results for themselves thanks to their effort and the use of our support and processes. In brackets, I use light language. So just to fill you guys in, Sylvie is a longer term client of mine, and she's also part of the Bright Light Client Attraction process quite recently. And so I'll keep reading the question. And still having difficulty manifesting the same for ourselves. So basically what she says is, talk about the frustration of knowing that we do great facilitation for our clients, and yet our life still isn't fixed, right? I've talked about this a few times because this is a frustration of mine that I've had to learn to relax around. And so let me keep reading. You can't stop me, by the way, but I'm going to keep reading. For me, the nemesis is a chronic health issue. I've been able to accompany people in their job transition and other areas, and still this is not so easy for me to hit the same wall again and again. I feel I could serve even better if I solved this issue. Yeah, me too, right? I have noticed that I often find positive sides to having faced this challenge. It launched my growth process from age 12, and I have made tremendous discovery on the path while overcoming those difficulties. I wonder if the part of me that acknowledged the value of the illness would prevent me from fully healing by subconsciously fearing that I would stop growing if I moved past this challenge. Of course, there are other reasons, and I also see progress anyway with my health, but still. Yeah, so it's a great question, Sylvie, and it's, something I've dabbled with a lot, and, on those multiple areas that you've mentioned. So let's just go back to the frustration, because it's very, very real. For many of us who are facilitators, it is incredibly frustrating that we can be quite good, even tremendously good, at helping other people, and even helping other people with exactly the same issue that we still haven't solved for ourselves. So for me, there's a couple of issues that come to mind personally. You're right, I still struggle a lot with not feeling good enough about myself, even though I have no good reason for that in the external world, because I actually have made some pretty good accomplishments throughout my life in various fields, and yet still, hey Janet, how are you? And still I feel, please feel free to ask a question or chime in at any time, Janet. And still I feel that I'm not, not intellectually know. I intellectually know that I'm doing great work in many, many aspects of my life. And I've got a whole heap of accomplishments behind myself, academically, sporting, socially, all sorts of great achievements, and still this niggling, and it's more than a niggle, by the way, this underlying vibration of not good enough is persistent, and it's friggin' frustrating, right? And I help other people get over it, and many of my clients do increase their confidence and their sense of feeling good enough about themselves quite dramatically, and yet I am still struggling with exactly the same issue. Another point is, like financial stuff. I've got, my financial stuff going on, which has dogged me my whole life. Many of my clients have outstripped me in their earning capacity since working with me, right? So they come along with the same issue, having trouble with their finances, and through working with me, their finances have now greatly improved, and yet I still seem to be on the slow path of working through my financial limitations, resistances, whatever we want to call them. The point is, as facilitators, we have to just get over our own issues. We have to, because what I see a lot, because I'm someone who's almost specializes in helping facilitators get out there and do their do, right? I help people step into being a facilitator. That's something I'm very passionate about, something Mantara is very good at. It's something we do quite a lot of. And it's something that I've accomplished, right? Even though I've got these issues with finances and my own sense of good enough and, waves and bouts of depression and the whatnot that I have had to dance with throughout my life, I've still managed to step up and be, reasonably successful as a facilitator. I've still got further to go. I know my reach is still quite small compared to where it will be in the future, but needless to say, that's something I've done, and I help a lot of people do it too. One of the biggest things we recognize with people who have all of the gifts available to them to work as a facilitator, have the heart for it, have the ability for it, have the energetic connections to be a great facilitator in many different ways. One of the things that holds them back is this idea that if they haven't fixed themselves yet, then they can't facilitate for others, right? And so many good facilitators are stuck working on themselves, thinking that once they've fixed all of their issues, then they'll be qualified to help others. And it's not the case, right? You do not need to fix yourself before you start helping others. In my opinion, the road to fixing yourself is partly to do with finding purposeful pursuit in helping others. I know it's definitely increased my mood. My states of depression are not nearly as deep or as prolonged as they were before I was working as a facilitator, right? I still have it. I still have waves of intense density arise as it's clearing out of my field from the past, and it feels like depression, right? It feels like not good enough. It feels like hopeless, useless, worthless. What's the point of even living, right? Still dancing with what people get very scared about, suicidal thoughts, right? I may as well just die. Thoughts. It's just something I deal with. It's something I've dealt with my whole life. But the point is, I'm getting better with all of that. And I think part of the help of getting better is the fact that I actually work as a facilitator already. And partly because I'm not ashamed of my shame, right? I don't need to hide the fact that I am not fully confident in myself as a person. I don't need to hide the fact that I still have depression. I don't need to hide the fact that I'm still not rich, quote unquote. Not that I need to be quote unquote rich, but financially stress-free would be great. And it's what I'm working towards, and it's what I'm slowly but surely achieving. So the point is, my friends, is not to allow yourself to be held up from stepping into what you're here to do as a facilitator or some sort of service provider, right? I use this term facilitator, and some people get all contracted around being an energy healer, and I'm not boxing it that tight, right? Facilitator is anyone who provides services for others in a way that's empowering, in a way that helps others grow in a heartfelt way, right? Not just providing a service to earn money, not just using clients like something you milk, but actually having some heart and wanting to help others grow in some way, to find happiness in some way, to provide a service that is serviceful and purposeful for others in some way. It could be anything for that matter. And in my opinion, you are a heart-based service provider, right? A facilitator of good things, good energy. Anywho, so that's part of the question. So understand that frustration is there and it's very real, and we just need to get over it and keep doing our stuff, right? Keep living our purposeful life as a facilitator, a service provider, because I believe that will slowly but surely build our confidence in ourselves through the process of seeing evidence and receiving appreciation from others and doing good work will help to slowly but surely erode the not good enough energies within us, right? The in Sylvie's case, the mental health issues, that is, far more impactful perhaps than mine. Hey, Sister Narendra, how are you? And Leslie, good to see you here. I recognize it's true for you too. So the other thing to point out here, the other part of Sylvie's question was, I've noticed that I often find positive sides in having to face these challenges, and I'm wondering if part of me is scared of losing my challenges in the idea that then I will lose, the influence for my growth. So I've come up against this in the yoga path back in the day. It was pointed out to me that all of the great saints have prayed for their suffering, of their own suffering, in order to bring themselves closer to God, right? They have all embraced challenge as part of the pathway to God. There's a lot of stuff in the older scriptures and potentially in the Bible, I can't remember everything, that basically states, those who are suffering are closer to God, and those who have an easy life easily forget God and therefore forsake their spiritual evolution, right? They forsake their ascension or their progression towards enlightenment or moksha or self-realization, whatever you want to call it, whatever sort of doctrine you are working from. For me, I went through a big phase, and it did create a lot of difficulty, a lot of suffering back in my sort of mid to late 20s, where I believed that suffering was my best friend, right? That challenges and problems were actually what is going to take me to my salvation. It's kind of like this whole idea that you come to earth and you suffer here in physical form to prove yourself worthy to get into heaven, right? That sort of is part of some Christian faiths quite powerfully, and does have a big influence on people. On some level, it gives people hope. Life's pretty shit here for them, and they think, well, if I just endure this as best I can, then I'm going to get my reward later in heaven. Great, gives them something to look forward to, helps them get through the suffering, helps them to put a silver lining, a positive tint on challenging situations here, which, is not wrong unto itself. I don't believe the doctrine is, completely truthful, that, I don't believe you just go to heaven for eternity and live a joyful life in that realm. But it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what I believe or what you believe, for that matter. At the end of the day, we're living this existence one breath at a time. And whatever we believe in that one moment can help us to move through in a more empowered way. But so the point that Sylvie's making is, I wonder if we hang on to our challenges, we don't want to let them go for fear of being released from that is going to untether us from a process that's guiding us forward. And I definitely believe there's truth to that. And even on egoic levels, many of us have different ways that our challenges help to egoically define us. Many of us have defined ourselves as someone who is battling against a certain challenge. And if that challenge was to just disappear, we would lose a lot of our identity, and no ego ever wants to lose its identity, because to the ego, that's death itself, right? Even if the physical body is still living, without the egoic identity, the ego would be terribly, terribly concerned. Concerned is maybe a watering down of it. So it's very common, I see very, very common for people who have chronic health issues to be sabotaging any attempt to actually fully heal themselves. They revel, or they've basically identified themselves as someone who is battling this health issue, and it's become them. And now, while they still keep talking about wanting to be over it, they still keep doing all of the external actions to heal themselves, there's this underlying current that the battler is their identity. And if the battle was to disappear, so would their identity. It's a very, very dangerous energetic trap that many people get caught into. We see it in activists, the activist mentality as well. People who are actively campaigning to overcome any issue, whether it's an environmental issue, whether it's a social issue, slavery, or pick one, anyone, right? They're battling against something, and they're actually feeding what they're battling against, because it's become their identity as well, as the activist, as the battler. And so on an energetic level, they don't want, even though mentally they keep talking about winning this fight against something, on a deeper energetic subconscious level, they don't want to ever destroy what they're fighting against, because then they wouldn't have anything to fight against, and they would lose their identity. They would lose their sense of purpose in the world. Purpose is very important to us. So it is something that is definitely worth looking at, and something that we can definitely work with Sister Sylvie in our next session, to allowing yourself to relax out of needing the challenge to define you, or needing the challenge to keep stimulating your progression and your ability to help others, right? Because knowing you, you are definitely here to serve others, and it's a big part of your reason for being. Big part of your purpose is to serve others. And if you feel that this health issue is actually supporting you to serve others on a level, because I know on another level you're thinking, once I get past this health issue, then I'll be able to serve. So we've got these, and it's quite common, right, to have what's the right word here? Not contracting, contradicting, to have contradicting belief systems running in our field. There's a fight between belief systems, a push-pull happening, which keeps us quite diffuse and confused, right? Confused and diffuse in our energy, because we have conflicting beliefs. We all have conflicting beliefs. It's very, very common, because we have so many beliefs. We've been educated, and we've picked up so many different energies in so many different ways. They, create discordance in our energetic field and diffuse us, right? The one way to really make great progress as an embodied human is to focus. And that's not a stressful focus, but it's a intentional, devotional focus on where you're actually going, on what you're actually putting your energy into. And it's not nearly as easy to achieve as we might like. Otherwise, more of us would be creating and doing many more positive, empowered action steps, right? If we weren't so diffused, so confused, so scattered, so easily distracted, and doubtful, right? We try and focus on something, but then the conflicts come up, the contradictions come up, and it inspires doubt on us. And then we start intellectualizing, trying to prove which one's right and which one's wrong. And it just diffuses the energy from actually making great progress in a certain direction. It's not always wrong, right? It's all part of our evolution. It's all part of the human experience. Hey, Sister Emily, but it is frustrating nonetheless. It is frustrating nonetheless. So, let's talk about I've sort of only got 5 minutes or so, 6 minutes left. So, the process of moving forward on all of what I've just been talking about is to basically, in my opinion, to relax and to hold intention, to relax into allowance around the fact that many of us have conflicting, contradictory belief systems running, and there are all sorts of ways that our egoic self or our subconscious self is using our challenges to keep maintaining certain states that on some level are perceived as beneficial, right? Having a challenge in our life may give us a sense of identity that we appreciate on a level, but our higher self knows that it's holding us back. And it's important that we don't hold any particular challenge or condition or situation as reason that we need to fix that before we can start becoming happy or purposeful or Great. I'm glad this topic is on purpose, on target for you, Sister Leslie. So the point is to relax into acceptance around all of what I've just talked about, and then to get very specifically intentional on the outcome that you desire, and to allow the process to unfold, right? If you just keep maintaining your intention on the outcome that you're desiring, which is to be basically, empower, to have a level of empowered freedom so that you can show up in on purpose, right? In an empowered way, on purpose, then everything else will work its way out if you allow it to. If you don't get caught up in contracting around it, if you don't get caught up in trying to figure it out too much, because trying to do this whole thing from our mind is not very effective. Our mind just simply does not have a deep enough foundation really to support the growth that we're looking for here. So our mind is a great tool. Our mind is not wrong, but we must be willing to step past wanting to intellectually understand everything and to allow ourselves to go through a process where it can surrender and unfold. And we still get insights, and we still process those insights with our mind, right? So it's not that we have to be out of our mind. It's not that we just totally in feeling state all the time. You still have thoughts come to you and you still process those thoughts, but doing it in an empowered way, doing it in a beneficial way, doing it in a way that allows things to keep evolving without getting stuck in trying to fix it, right? Just allow yourself to be open to how you can overcome it, and then allow energetically it to happen more than intellectually. And appreciation is a big part of this. So noticing that we are making progress, having that level of awareness that even though it is frustrating that we're not making enough awareness from our egoic point of view, which is always the case for all of us, really, truly. So don't make yourself wrong for egoically not feeling that you're not making enough progress, because that is just part of the human condition. But at the same time, mitigating that a little by consciously choosing to notice what progress you are making and appreciate it, right? To find gratitude, to give thanks, to honor yourself for the progress you are making, because what you appreciate will appreciate. When you start appreciating the fact that you are making progress, that you are stepping into more and more confidence, that you are stepping into more and more balance with your health, for example, Sylvie, but all of us have our own things. For me, it was honoring the fact that I'm stepping into more and more confidence, that I am showing up more and more, even though it's frustrating. And even if as I show up more and more in confidence, it actually triggers deeper, more intense layers of not good enough arise, right? I just had this experience 3 weeks ago in Bali when I was receiving a lot of appreciation for what I was doing, and it actually triggered me into a huge meltdown around not being appreciated, right? Funny, not. Not at the time, still not. But that's how it happens. So, as we step forward into more and more confidence, quite often we feel more and more of our doubts come up, and we've got this push-pull going on. It can get quite intense for a while. And we just have to relax through it and understand that that is part of the process. As we step forward in more empowered ways, our doubts come up from deeper realms that have been hidden from us to protect ourselves, because we weren't confident enough to deal with it before. Now all of a sudden we've achieved a level of confidence, and now all of this doubt comes to the surface. It's like, well, that's not freaking fair. I've just done a whole heap of work to find more confidence, and now I'm faced with a new layer of doubt and insecurity. Welcome to the human experience, right? The experience of spiritual evolution here on planet Earth. Don't resent that process, right? Don't get into the wrongness of it. Don't allow yourself to fall into what's the point. Just breathe deep, feel the frustration, honor the fact that you're frustrated, and then choose to put your attention on what you're appreciating, on the fact that you have made progress, on the fact that you are stepping into greater and greater versions of purposeful pursuit, or whatever that might look like for you. Empowered freedom, authentic confidence, true purposeful happiness, right? Honor that, appreciate that, because what you appreciate will grow. I think I've done it. Chat with Matt. Done for this week. So, my friends, if you have any comments or questions, if you've just watched this in replay, please feel free to write in the comments section. I tend to do a pretty good job. It's my intention to do a good job anyway of monitoring the comments that come through on these things, post it happening, and I'll answer anything that I can as best I can. And if you need to reach out to me, if you want to book a free 45-minute session with me, then just ask, right? And I'll send you the link. No problem. We're here to serve all of you guys. And that's my greatest joy. That's my greatest purpose. And that's what helps me to grow. So I'm very happy to do that. And I get good results with people. So it's a win-win-win. Reach out. I'm here for you. Bye for now.